Space, home, monsters, spells, gods, fake money, bigger dice, dwarf, little bag to put dice in, dwarf. Let's go retro and play Hero's Journey Home. Hero's Journey Home is a dungeon crawler, old school type of game created by Graham Cranfield, and he ran a first campaign on Kickstarter about 2 years ago. I missed that, but I managed to get the first reprint of the game through another Kickstarter campaign, and he also came with an expansion of the game called Gods of Men and More. Graham has done the design of the game, the art of the game, and he published the game as well. And the art specifically is one of the reasons why I got the game, because I absolutely love it. And it reminds me of the old school games that I used to play when I was much younger than now. As I said, it's a dungeon crawler style game, and the story is slightly different than the usual. So in the usual story you will have a bunch of characters going on an adventure or on a mission to kill monsters and kill the big boss at the end of the dungeon to free the villagers. Hero's Journey Home is slightly different. You've just killed a big boss monster at the end of a dungeon, so you just finished your mission, and now you're trying to get home. And on the way home you're gonna encounter monsters, you're gonna visit places, and you're gonna buy items and try and level up to kill more monsters to be able to reach home. I'm gonna show you a partial playthrough. I'm not gonna go to the end of it, and just to let you know, I'm gonna use parts of the Gods of Men and More expansion, not all of the different new tools and abilities that the expansions gives you. So as I said, you're trying to get home. This is home. So what you do first, you need to shuffle home into the bottom half of the encounter deck. Let's do that now. Let's say that's enough. And then what you need to do is you need to figure out which monster you've just killed on your mission. So there's a selection of big boss monsters here, and what I usually do, I randomly pick one. Let's go for this one here. Okay, the Templar Knight. And you can see here that it tells you that this one gives you a... or better, when in the story we just killed the Templar Knight and we found some treasure and or an item, and the item is the Holy Grail. So what you need to do next is to go into the special quest items deck and find the Holy Grail. Let's figure out if we can get the Holy Grail. There it is. Okay. That's it. So you killed this monster, you just killed this monster, and you found the Holy Grail as an item. This item now is going to be equipped to one of your characters, actually to your hero, for the remainder of the game, and you can use the ability of the item throughout the game. Okay, so we've done those two. Now we don't need the two decks, the monsters deck and the big boss monsters deck and the quest items. So let's put them aside. We need our item that we just stole from the big boss. Now we need to figure out who is part of our party. And to do that, you will need to select some adventurers. And again, I'm following a suggestion that was made by one of the users on Board Game Geek, whereby you randomly select your characters, and I like that because it gives you the chance to try out different characters every time you play. Otherwise, at least I usually tend to select the same ones all the time, and it can become a little bit boring, and it will force you to explore different characters, and maybe you figure out that you like other characters instead of the usual ones that you select. And to do that, so to select your party, what we need to do is we need to get a maximum of 3 characters. Again, this is a restriction that is suggested by the same user on Board Game Geek. You need to select maximum 3 characters so that their card value, the sum of their card value, is not more than the monster card value. So it's not more than 16. How you do that is you start to turn them over. Okay, this is a 3. I can keep it. Is less than 16. Okay, so this is one of my character in the party. The next one, this is a 10. Can go there. 10 and 3 is 13. So I still got 3 to go up to 16. And I got a 1. Perfect. So I've got 10, 3 and 1, which is 14. I've already got 3, so I'll stop here. I'm not going to draw any other character. Okay, we've done that as well. Now we don't need this monster card anymore. We've used it for what it was needed for, so we'll put it back. Now we got our 3 characters. We need to decide which of these 3 characters is the hero. And to be honest, I'm gonna go for the automaton. So you pick up the hero marker card and you put it underneath it to indicate that this one is your hero. So the aim of the game, as I said, is to go home, and you will win the game if you turn the home card from the encounter deck. So if you go through part of the encounter deck until you encounter your home card, or if the hero dies, it's gonna be game over. The other 2 guys can die, and you will have the chance to get other people as part of your, or other people join your party or swap characters. But the important thing is that your hero doesn't die. Otherwise, it's gonna be game over. And one of the bits that I'm gonna use from the Gods of Man and More expansion is the God part. So now that we selected the automaton as our hero, we need to find out which is the first card, conveniently, the correspondent god. And for the automaton is the Soma version 1, is the deity of automatons. So this one is gonna help you out throughout the adventure by giving you some health points or helping you with some money and other stuff. Okay, we've got our party ready. What we need to check now is we need to check if any of these characters, so we got a wizard, an automaton and a fool, if we need to check if any of those are able to cast spells. And the wizard, of course, is able to cast spells, so it knows 3 spells. And this is the selection of spells that come with the game. And again, what I do, I randomly select 3 spells. So let's get this one, let's get this one and this one. Okay, so let's see what we got. We got teleport, we got polymorph and hammer of the gods. Okay, so we got our 3 spells. I'm gonna put them under the wizard there. That's our hero, and that's our fool. And sorry, and this is the item that we got from the big boss, so I'll put it next to the hero. That's done. We've got our god, we've got our spells, we got our item, we got our characters. What we need next is some money. So you start off with 200 paper money, or paper gold. I think it's called paper money in the instruction booklet. It's 200 per character. So we got 3 characters, it's gonna be 600. Fine, we got the money as well. And all the characters will start with 3 health, so they can be hit 3 times before they die. And the game comes with a bunch of dice, big and small, and you use them to keep track of the hit points on characters and monsters, as we are gonna see when we encounter a monster. There are also 2 D20 dice which you use in combat. We're gonna see again this one later. Plus we need a bigger D6 to keep track of our bonus die. And this one is something that will increase every time we kill a monster. And then you can use it to help your characters during combat. And because we are using the Gods of Man expansion and we got a god with us, we're gonna put also a die on it with number 3, because we got 3 available prayers we can do throughout the game to ask the god to help us out. Well, let's try and go home then. So a turn is pretty simple. You turn the topmost card of the encounter deck and then you encounter whatever is there. So let's go for it. Okay, the first one is a place. So we traveled to the Isle of Worty, and there is literally nothing to do but wait for a passing boat. So nothing happens, and that is 1 turn done. Let's go to the next one. Another place. So I believe a boat came to the Isle of Worty. We got on the boat and then we ended up in the Dwarven Blacksmith. And this one will let you enchant weapons and armor +1 per 400 paper gold, up to +6 each. So if I had any weapons or armors, I would be able to enchant them by paying 400 paper gold. They will gain a +1 in attack or defense, depending if it's a weapon or an armor. But I don't have any, so cannot do anything else. Alright, let's go with the next one. Oh, this is an item. This is a very thick cloak. So this is your best defense against cold nights. It costs 100 paper gold and it gives you a +1 defense. So I think I'm gonna buy it and I'm gonna equip it to my hero. Okay, and now let's go with the next. Oh, that's a monster. It's a harpy and it's difficult to hit. All spellcaster melee attack rolls -2. So spellcasters only have the wizard here. So if he tries a melee attack, it's gonna have a -2 when you roll the dice. Okay, and this one is it's got 3 hit points and the card value is 7. So now we could decide to, let's put the hit points there. We could decide to bribe the monster to go away. To do that, you need to pay the card value times 100 paper gold. In this case, the card value is 7. I will need to pay 700 paper gold. I don't have 700 paper gold, so I will need to face the monster. How does the combat work? Well, first of all, you need to figure out who goes first, and that is the initiative. And you just follow the sequence of the card values from the smallest to the biggest. So, for example, the Fool is going to go first, second is going to be the Wizard, third is going to be the Monster because it's 7, and last is going to be the Hero because his card value is 10. So we will start with the Fool, and the Fool has got an intrinsic ability which is subtract 3 from all monster attack rolls against all adventurers. The intrinsic ability, you got an intrinsic and extrinsic ability. Intrinsic are always activated. You don't need to spend an action to do those. Extrinsic, you will need to spend an action to take that ability, to execute that ability. So cool, we need to remember that when the monster attacks us, we need to subtract 3 from all monster attacks rolls. That's cool. And now we need to see if we can hit the monster. And to do that, there is a formula that is explained in the rulebook, but also on the rulebook there's a table provided that is a quick reference to understand what you need to roll to be able to hit monsters of a specific card value. So let's see, this is card value 1 for the Fool and is against a 7. So use table. So it's going to be a 1 for us, which is the attackers. So the attackers are across here and the defenders are down here. So attacker 1, I need to hit a monster with a card value of 7. So I need to roll 16 or above to hit the monster. And actually, because it's I find it a bit time consuming all the time checking this table, what I did, I printed out a summary for each of the card values of whatever rolls you need to hit the different levels of the monsters. So in this case, I'm gonna get the 1, I'll put it next to the Fool, and then I got a 10, I'll put this one next to my automaton, and a 3, and I'll put this one against the Wizard, and I've got a 7 as well for the monster, so I'll take out the 7 as well, which will kind of speed things up a bit. Alright, so now that we know that to be able to hit that monster with the Fool, I need to roll a 16 plus. So what you do, you roll 2 dice. I believe a roll of 1 is always a failure, a roll of 20 is always a success, and it's also a critical hit, which if you have an ability that says that you got something to do with the critical, you can use it when you roll a 20. So let's see if I can hit it. Okay, so I've got a 2 and a 19. So I need a 16 plus, so this one did not hit the monster, but this one did, and so the monster goes down to 2 hit points. And that's the Fool turn done. Now the next one is going to be the Wizard. So the Wizard, as we said, the Harpy's got a special ability which is all spellcaster melee attack rolls -2. So to hit a 7, a monster of 7, I will need to roll a 14 plus, but it's gonna give me a -2, so I will need to roll at least a 16 plus to hit it with a melee attack. Or I could decide to hit it with one of the spells, even though I don't think I have any spells to directly hit the monster. No, I got the teleport, immediately flip the next card, ending any action on the current card. Okay, so we could escape with this one. The teleport will just force you to draw the next card and discard this one with no consequences. Polymorph, one adventurer takes the form of a defeated monster, value 10 or less, use new card values. Okay, this one will transform one of your adventurer into a monster that you've already defeated. And the Hammer of the Gods, for the duration of battle, adventurer adds +1 damage per hit, added after all other bonuses. Okay, so there's nothing that actually lets me hit the monster directly with a spell, so I'm not going to use any spell. And if I wanted to use a spell, you need to use magic points to cast a spell, and I think it's 1 magic points per spell. Let me check that. Where is it? The spell casting. Yeah, as such, casting a spell costs 1 or more magic points. So usually if it's more than 1 magic point is gonna be written on the card. So to cast one spell is gonna be 1 magic point. And magic point could be, you can use 1 of your health points, so I can go down to 2 to use 1 magic point. Or you can spend money, so you can spend 200 paper gold to gain 1 magic point. Or you can spend 1 of the bonus die values, which we're gonna see if we defeat the monster. But I don't want to cast any spells, so I'm just gonna try and attack the harpy, knowing that I've got a -2 on the roll, so I will need again a 16 plus. Oh, unlucky. So I got a 14 and 14, which means I'm not gonna hit the monster, because even though I needed a 14, there's a -2, so they are considered as 12 and 12. Fine, okay, so I missed. Now it's the monster's turn, because it's 7 card value. So the monster is who's gonna attack. Again, I think I'm gonna roll the die to randomly decide who is gonna attack. So this is gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5, 6 is gonna attack the fool. Now the fool has got a card value of 1. So I need a 4 plus to, the monster needs a 4 plus to hit the fool. But the fool is got subtract 3 from all monster attack rolls against all adventurers. So I need to subtract 3 from the dice roll. Oh, perfect. Look at that. 5 and a 2. So -3 is 2, -3 is -1. So it doesn't hit the fool. Okay. And that was 1 round of the combat phase. Now we start again, and again you follow the card value to understand who goes first. So again it's gonna be the fool, then the wizard, then the monster, and then the hero. Actually, no, the hero needs to attack now. I forgot about that. So the monster just attacked the fool, and now is the turn of the hero. Alright, so the hero, to be able to attack, to hit the monster, so it's 7, it needs a 7 plus. See if I can. Perfect, I've got a 10 and a 19, which means I inflict 2 hit points to the monster, which means the monster is dead. Okay, now because the monster is dead, we also get a reward, and the reward, I think there's a change in the Gods of Men expansion, which kind of reduces the reward that you get when you kill a monster. So yeah, in the basic game you would receive the health points of the monster times 100 in paper gold. So in this case we would receive 300 paper gold. But if you use the Gods of Men and More, because the Gods of Men and More expansion adds more monsters in the deck, you just half that one, so it's gonna be 150 paper gold reward, so 150. Okay, plus now we've killed the monster, so we gain 1 point on the bonus die, so we'll put it there. And now we can use this to modify our attack rolls if you want to, so you can add the value that you've got on the bonus die to your roll once per combat, or you can use it, as we've seen, for as magic points to cast spells if you want to. So we've seen places, we've found an item as well, and we killed a monster. The god will come into play if, as I said, we want to ask for help, and you can see that a prayer effect, so you can ask for healing, for paper gold, or for enchantment. And what you do, you got 3 goes at it. You say, you roll a die, and if you ask for paper gold and you roll a 1 or a 2, you get 200 paper gold. And or if you asked for healing and you rolled a 6, you get a +6 health points, which you can distribute amongst your characters. So that's a quick overview of how the game works. You turn encounters, you either follow the instructions on the places, or you buy items if you find items, or you combat or you attack monsters, or you bribe them, depending on how much money you've got and how powerful your characters are. But if you are looking for a game that tells you a deep story and engages you for hours, like say the Seventh Continent or Robinson Crusoe, you should look somewhere else, because this is not that type of game. At least that is my view on it. But I also think it never meant to be that type of game. This is kind of old school hack and slash game where you encounter things and you just go for the kill and try and build up your characters and reach home without having your hero dead. I enjoy playing it. There are little things that I think should be adjusted. For example, enchantment is difficult to track them. Maybe sometimes you use dice to say that this item has been enchanted and now it's got a 1, so a 2. Now it's got a power of 2. Also, sometimes it's difficult to figure out what is your new card value for attack and defense, because they don't clearly state that this is just for defense. I know it's a thick cloak, so you naturally would think this is for defense, but there are some other items that are a bit ambiguous, I would say. And there is also another kind of a quicker way to resolve combats as well. You can, was introduced by the Gods of Men and More expansion, which is the attacks in concert. So it's like all your heroes attack the monster in one go, or part of your heroes attack the monster in one go, which will reduce the time that you spend rolling dice and checking values, etc. Plus, there is a higher rate of or higher chance of hitting the monster if you do attacks in concert as well. I enjoy playing this game. As I said, I really love the art. I think Graham has done an outstanding job on it. But I would think that this is not a game for everybody. If you're looking for storytelling, as I said, it's not this game. But it's a quick game. You can get it out, try and reach home, and spend half an hour, 45 minutes by killing monsters and visiting places. There are also some suggestions on how to set up the encounter deck, because if it's completely randomized, it could happen that you've encountered a really high level monster at the beginning, which will just wipe out your party and you lose after 10 minutes. So there are ways of setting up the deck to make it a little bit more gradual. so the monsters gradually get harder and harder as you go on. There are also other, in the Gods of Man expansion, which I haven't used in this quick playthrough, you can select races for your characters, which will give you extra abilities. So there are elves, gnome, halfling, half-orc and dwarves. And there are plenty of spells and plenty of big boss monsters to make replayability a little bit more engaging. This is Hero's Journey Home. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time.